In today's video we're going to be looking at the difference between hitting a utility iron. I have a 2 iron in my bag at the moment. I've got the new Titleist T200, and we're also going to have a look at the TSI 2 hybrid. For me, there's similar kind of degrees of loft, but I just want to kind of see which one is going to benefit my game the most. Having a 2 iron or a hybrid in the bag is quite a player's preference. For me, I've always had a 2 iron just because I've not quite found a hybrid that I get along with, so I've always kind of stuck with the 2 iron itself. But when Titleist fetched out the TSI hybrids, I thought I'd definitely like the look of those and I want to give those a little go. So I've got myself a 3 hybrid which measures at 18 degrees, and obviously it's got the bits and pieces on here that you can also change as well. Lovely looking club. I've hit it for quite a few times. Really nice club. Again, with your hybrids, generally you're going to be thinking that they're going to go a little bit higher in the air than a 2 iron. You're generally going to be thinking that they're going to be a little bit easier to hit. But saying that, I wanted to give it a go just to make sure I've got the right club in the bag. My 2 iron that I currently have, as I said just a minute ago, is the new Titleist T200. Beautiful looking club. You can have a look at the specs that I've got on my 2 iron, which is on my website, dannyhullpga.com. Click on what's in the bag tab and you'll see all the clubs that I play with on there. Obviously being an ambassador for Titleist, I feel very lucky and fortunate that I get to have all the latest equipment from them. I've just got the new T100s in the bag. Again, another fantastic club. When you go onto my website, if you scroll down to the bottom of the what's in the bag tab, you can have a look to see which irons suit you the best, which wedges suit you the best, which driver suits you the best, etc. So have a little flick on there and just use the tool to your advantage. Have a little look, see what one is going to be the best for you. So, we're going to hit a few shots with hybrid, we're going to hit a few shots with T200 2 iron. We've got the Skytrack up, ready to go. So we'll hit a few shots, have a look at some data, and take it from there. Okay, so we've just hit 10 shots with the Titleist TSI 2 hybrid, and we've just hit 10 shots with the new Titleist T200 2 iron. I must admit, standing over the hybrid, I felt a lot more confident. I felt like I could actually give that one a little bit more of a whack, and I felt like I could probably have a little bit more confidence in it. But then I'm looking down at the 2 iron and I think, this is probably the club for me. I just felt like a bit more of a player. If I'm honest, it just felt like it was going to be the right club. The 2 iron probably went a little bit lower, the hybrid went a little bit higher. Saying that, even I had a couple of miss hits with the 2 iron, to be honest with you. So there's 1 or 2 shots in there that are not quite so good. So law of averages would kind of tell you that I should really be hitting hybrid, but I just prefer the look of the 2 iron. When I'm standing there, I just feel like I'm going to shot the 2 iron. Not that I'm going to feel like that with the hybrid, but I just feel like I prefer the look of the 2 iron. And I suppose when this kind of club that I'm going to be using, the majority of the time is going to be off the tee. So I don't really need a lot of height when I'm off the tee. I just want to make sure that I'm going to get a good consistent yardage. Probably a little bit of a lower ball flight I would prefer to play, just so that when it does hit the fairway, it's just going to be running. Whereas the hybrid, because it went just that little bit higher, it's going to stop a bit quicker. It's probably just going to give me a bit of gap in as well in between my 3 wood and the 4 iron that I've got. 4 iron carries around 200, 205. This carries it a little bit further than that, and obviously my 3 wood carries about 240. So we'll have a look at some numbers and let's see what we should be putting in the bag. But at the minute I'm kind of leaning towards the 2 iron. Let's have a little look. So let's take a look at some numbers. We start off with a 2 hybrid. We hit 10 shots with this club, just to have a look at the ball spin, the launch angle, all the other technical data. And then we hit 10 shots with the 2 iron. If you don't want to have a look at these shots, just make sure you fast forward, because there are some more details on the data a little bit further along in this video. So if you don't want to see all of these shots, just have a little skip forward and we can have a look at the summary instead. So there's the 10 shots with the 2 hybrid. Now let's have a look at the 2 iron. Again, there is 10 shots here, so if you don't want to have a look at all these shots, there is a summary of all the data a little bit further along this video, so just feel free to have a little skip forward. If you do continue watching though, you will see a couple of wonky shots that I did hit, just to make sure I kept those in the data too. But yeah, feel free to have a little fast forward if you want to. Okay, so let's have a look at some numbers. We had the 2 iron where we hit, actually we hit 11 shots here with the 2 iron, because shot number 5 was absolutely disastrous, way too far left, so we'll cheekily delete that one. Because we want to have a look at the averages, that would kind of knock off what the average would be. So to get good consistent numbers, we're going to have to take the good shots into consideration. So 10 shots with a 2 iron, 10 shots with a hybrid, and then take a look at the averages from there on.
we can see that we did get a little bit more carry with the 2 hybrid, as you can see just circled here. So we got an extra 3 yards over the 2 iron, and the total distance, as you can see in these 2 figures, was actually a little bit more with a hybrid than what it was with a 2 iron. However, the Skytrack does think that we're on a normal ground setting in inverted commas, so potentially in the summer I could get a little bit more roll than what it does suggest with the 2 iron on here. So off the tee, probably a 2 iron is going to be the club. Maybe in the winter, if I'm going to be hitting into the greens, maybe a hybrid would be the club for me. I did get a little bit more club head speed with the hybrid, but that's probably where I was feeling a little bit more confident, as opposed to a 2 iron. When you're looking down at a 2 iron, it is a little bit more daunting, but for me, that just makes me concentrate a little bit more. So again, it is very much a player's preference of what club you want to kind of put in the bag. Even though the numbers suggest that I should be putting a 2 hybrid in the bag, I'm still very much undecided.
So there was a little insight on when I'm hitting my 2 iron, when I'm hitting my hybrid. I'm still a little bit undecided of what club I'm really going to be putting in the bag, if I'm honest, because I need to pick one or the other, otherwise I'm going to start exceeding the 14 club limit in my bag. I think it's going to depend on where I play, really. When it gets a little bit warmer in the summer, I'm probably going to stick with a 2 iron. If I'm going to play a little bit in the winter where I'll need to make sure I can definitely get that contact on the club, maybe try and get a little bit higher so it's going to land and stop on the green, I think probably the hybrid is going to be the option for me. But again, I'm very undecided, so it's probably just going to come down to the last minute. I'm probably going to take both of them in the bag, and then just before I play, take one or the other out. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, please make sure you get in contact with me. Either hit me up on my social media channels, which is Danny Hold PGA. Have a look at my little website. There's plenty of information on there. Take care. Bye for now.